Good afternoon. Today it's my pleasure to welcome Dr. Kiminobu Sugaya to Vital Signs to share his findings and insights on the benefits of music to the brain. Dr. Sugaya is a professor and head of neuroscience at the University of Central Florida, where he's focused on developing stem cell therapies. You'll be intrigued to learn how this connects to music. Which kind of music can make us smarter? Can the right music really offset symptoms of diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease? Today we reveal the music that lights up our brains. Welcome to Vital Signs, where we learn how to get healthy from all angles, from the biochemical and nutritional to the things we do that nourish our minds and our souls. I'm Brendan Fallon. Dr. Sugaya, great pleasure to have you join us on Vital Signs today.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I'm pleasure to be here.
I'd just like to kick off our discussion on this really important topic of how music can influence the brain with some of a favorite piece of my music, which is Antonio Vivaldi's Winter, the Four Seasons. We'll just play a short piece of this music, and I want to ask you how this might be affecting my brain, because it does have a very significant effect when I listen to this.
Okay.
Yeah, so I find this is a very exhilarating piece of music. It's something that moves me deeply when I hear it. It's been a favorite of mine for a long time. What could be happening in my brain when I'm listening to that?
Okay, let me show one of the picture.
Sure.
This is the brain when you're listening like this music. Okay, so then this is the hippocampus and then the amygdala. That's related to the emotional. And also here's the insula. That's the area putting all those information together. And then those area of the brain lights up. And then there are two ways to respond to the music. One is this normal, regular response to the music, pressure. So then it's called ventral tegmental area, dopaminergic neurons here, and then the nucleus accumbens. That's the part of the brain responding those pressure signals. But you can see here another way. This is the amygdala hippocampus. That way also you can feel the reward. So two ways to feel the reward. But like this Vivaldi case, more to this amygdala and then the hippocampal area are activated rather than pressure center like this tegmental area. This area actually when you take the drag, right? And then this area, like a cocaine or something, those drug activate this area. That's why you feel pressure. And also if you eat like a sweets and something like that, that also goes to here. But the music, of course, you feel that kind of pressure too, right? That's I put the Mozart, Marriage of Figaro or something, right? So then if you're listening those part of the brain, so then they depend on the music. Your brain responded totally different.
That's intriguing. I'd like to play a different type of music now, but there is a similarity I see in that this music, like Vivaldi that we just played, it has this kind of maybe a bass frequency, but it's got these very high notes, which I don't know seem to pique the sensation of the music. I'd like to play a more modern type of music, a short piece here. Can we just play that? Again, it has these highs in it that accent the music. How might these two pieces of music be a...
Yeah. So then the last one. Yeah, last one more or less similar to this Mozart effect. And then that's not eccentric. That's not rushing. Oops. Okay. Do you hear me now? So then the last one is last one is more moderate speed, and then not that exciting. Although you say that's a similar, that's quite different. So then definitely the last one acting on like the ventral tegmental area, ventral strata, nucleus accumbens, caudes, right? So then just feeling more pressure than hippocampus and the amygdala, emotional. Of course, it's emotional, and then it's depend on your memory. Those, what can I say, experience change the meaning of the music as well. Depend on your experience. For example, I usually say that, like a Hotel California to me. Okay, I was driving the open car with my girlfriend going towards the beach and switch on the radio. That's where I heard like this music, right? And then that's very emotional attached to it. So then whenever I hear this music, that moment came to my mind. So then that's the experience also affect on your brain. But in general, if nobody heard those music, their brain acting like this. And then the first one, definitely the brain acting like this. So then the more emotional, more hippocampus, and then the amygdala part is activated. And then the last one is more or less to the pressure center activated.
What you were saying just then about the your own experience of, I guess, being a teenager, the music that you heard driving through your car.
Yeah, right.
I know that you've done some experiments with Alzheimer's patients. And it's not, in this case, it's not classical music that had a particular effect, that had a stirring result. Could you speak a little bit about how the effect of a certain music has triggered results in certain Alzheimer's patients that you've done experiments with?
Yeah, if we give the music to the person who has the good experience with it, all the good memories, okay, and then usually the Alzheimer patient, they just depressed at a later stage. They're not going to respond anything. But if you give like this music, this happened to the patient. The patient start fully awake.
Wow.
You see the eye open up tremendously, right? So then that's the difference. So then usually the people depressed, the eye, and then he started talking, never stop, right? And then this effect happened if you give this music attached to his memory or the part, those patient memory.
So he'd basically been in a non-responsive state. He was just spending his days sitting there, not talking, not engaging. He heard this music,
just like this,
and
right?
suddenly he's waking
And
up.
then the eye open up.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a dramatic effect because our brain just like that. So then the memory, not in one place. Several different part of the brain contain one memory related, and then the hippocampus retrieving those memory back and then put together and make sense. So then that's the brain function. Okay, and then those memory. Oh, maybe yeah. Okay, so then this could be my brain when I'm hearing the Hotel California. As you can see, the brain everywhere got activated because those memory related to this music activated, and then the brain tried to retrieve those things.
Oh, so it's
So
not
then
just
if
one
the
part of
music,
the brain.
no, just one part of the brain everywhere. So then the hippocampus is the like a CPU to the computer. You know the CPU, right? CPU is calculating the things and then put those things into the memory, RAM, or the SSD memory, or whatever the memory, right? And then the cortex holding those memory. and then the hippocampus is the CPU to retrieve. But if you turn on the music, which stick to the such emotion, the brain everywhere activate, and then that's what happened in the Alzheimer patient you saw.
Because I mean, you might look at someone in that situation and think his memory is gone. His memory cells have died. There's nothing there anymore. But this suggests something very different. That some of those memories are there and they're just dormant and need to be connected.
Yeah, yeah. So then the memory, the base of the memory is the connection of the neurons, right? We call synapse connection. If the synapse connection is more dense, that's a memory strong. By the disease, those connection start losing. But still some small connection, residual connection there. So that's the things happening. And then if the music triggers those information to retrieve to the hippocampus, that's what it is.
I have a question here from our audience, Dr. Sugaya, on a related topic. This person has asked, does music have a special healing effect for people with traumatic brain injury? And what kind of benefit could this bring? If, like, I guess similar to what we saw with this man with Alzheimer's, if someone has a traumatic brain injury, is a certain type of music could help them?
That's not the certain type. It's depend on the part of the brain you got the damage. Okay, but in general, I show you something here. Do you see this kind of movie, right? Video. So then these tiny cells moving along the edge of these big cells. Big cells are glia, and then these tiny cells are neurons. Okay, and then this is a human neurons and the glia in vitro that made of the stem cells. We can get the stem cell out of the brain, and then if we culture them, we can make like a human brain in vitro. Okay, so then that's the regeneration. And then the first finding of the stem cells. That's what I want to show you. Oops. Do you see the screen, right? So then the first finding of the stem cells was in the birds, in the brain.
The first time they discovered stem cells was in a canary.
In the brain, yeah. So then that's reported in 1998 in neurons. Before that, we did not know the stem cell exists in the brain. Okay, and then the birds, they're singing. I want to stop. So then the birds start singing in the spring, but they stop singing during the summer. So then they learn singing in the spring. By learning it, they want to make these new neurons. You can see the green neurons here. Those are the neurons generated from the stem cells. That's the first finding of the regeneration. That's finding of the neurogenesis. So then this bird, in other words, they're learning the music or the singing or listening to the music. By doing so, we believe the neurogenesis happened. So then that's why the brain damage could be benefited by listening to the music. And then another thing is that music and then the language using the same part of the brain.
The music and the language.
Yeah, language, right? Okay, so this is the picture of the resting stage, and then this is the brain using the language. You can see the red on the left side here, right? And then when somebody listening the music, the right hand side, exactly the opposite side lights up. And then this area called Broca's area, this area called Wernicke's area, both of those are the language center. So we are using the same language center, but the music tend to use to the right, and then the language used to the left. But if somebody got a stroke or something, and then losing this function, that's always, not always, many cases happen. They got the damage to this part of the brain, and then they start losing the words of the language. Then, if we give such a person music, especially I like the music with the lyrics, so then the singing is quite good. And then those training can recover this part of the brain partially, and also they could start using the other side of the brain for the language. So then yeah, so
That's it's interesting that the connection between the language and the music. I think I see a similarity between both these mediums of communication, because
mm-hmm,
with the language you might be you may be trying to project an emotion. Like if you're feeling sad, you want to communicate that to someone. You want to communicate that your dog died or something like that. You want to express an emotion. You want that person to feel the same emotion, and we do that with music. I mean, almost more directly. We're seeking to project an emotion, so that I see a kind of common ground there between the spoken language and the use of music.
yeah, that's one thing. But when you think about this, when you think, right? You're using the language, do you? Don't you? Right? You're using the language. Yeah, for me, I came from Japan, so then my brain always using the Japanese. So then when I do the mathematics, seriously, I use the Japanese.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that's my mother tongue. Of course, now I'm thinking in English. Otherwise, the time lag gonna be an issue. But after a while, like 2 hours, 3 hours later, all this conversation automatically translated into the Japanese in my brain. Anyway, so then because of that, if we train this language center with the music, such a person can think better.
I know there's some
That's what
there are some studies.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Studies with dyslexia.
Yeah, that's what dyslexis
and others
stuff.
that you
And also sorry. Yeah. So then the other thing is the very famous one is the Mozart effect, right? So then if you give the Mozart to the kids become smart. That's kind of true. So then that's also something related to that, such a Mozart music activate the language center, and then stimulate the language center, and then those part of the brain acting better than the control. That way they can think better. That's the way they can get a better grade. That's kind of things.
Yeah, that I know the Mozart effect. I understand it's related to studies done in the 90s. They played a particular piece of they tested these children with a particular piece of Mozart music. Maybe we can play that now. That particular this is the Mozart sonata for two pianos in D major, K448. Let's have a quick listen to this.
Yeah, that's the Mozart. And then this one stimulates the brain extremely. Yes. Mhm.
What kind
Go
of
ahead.
what kind of effects did they see from that? What when they tested children playing this
Yeah.
music?
So then my internet is not stable. Sorry about that.
That's
The
okay. I think
local
we're doing
internet
okay.
problem. Yeah. Right. So then the Mozart like this one, we tested on young people and the senior people, different, but the both. And then when we check the frontal lobe function, and then the frontal lobe function increased 50% increase, dramatic increase. Yeah. So then that means they can think much better. They can solve the issue much better, something like that, by listening this music. And then such effect lasts like 15 minutes after such a listening the music as well. So then but alternatively, we gave the Wagner. Wagner being used by Nazi or some of the soldier to encourage the people.
That's right.
So then we
Hitler
thought
used Wagner.
that's gonna affect. Yeah, 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 yeah. Even in Vietnam, American soldier used it. Anyway, so then we thought that that's gonna affect to the brain very well, and then we can see the effect, but zero. Surprisingly, zero effect.
Hmm.
Even not a 10% increase, nothing. So then the music structure is very important. But still, unfortunately, still we don't know exactly. This is the structure needed to stimulate the brain that positive way or something like that. Yeah.
I understand with some of these studies that they look at it's the spatial intelligence they talk about, um, to be able to imagine certain shapes in the mind,
Mhm.
or if you
Yeah.
and I know that there's something
The
you
best
with
way
the
is
paper, right?
yeah, yeah. We call it a folding paper uh, test. We fold the paper. This is chocolate things, but and then for example, if I make the two holes here, right? Mm. Two holes, maybe difficult. See, two holes here. This is a very simple one. But when I open up, what kind of the picture? What kind of things you can imagine? That's kind of
Mhm.
test. Now you can see two holes, two holes, two holes, symmetrical, right? So then by changing the folding, by changing the making the puncture place, we can have lots of different variety of the answer, and then that called paper folding test, and then that's the 3D structure. You have to think about the 3D things in the brain in order to get the answer, and then that's related to the hippocampus. And then already I mentioned that the hippocampus function is very important as the CPU of the brain, right? So then we also measure that. And then, yeah, that's where also we found a very significant effect, not the 50, but the 40, maybe 43% increase in the hippocampus function as well.
Uh-huh. That that kind of test, it kind of calls upon the ability to project, to im- it calls upon a lot of imagination, I'd say, to be able to imagine what this is going to look like, to these holes in the paper. Um,
Hmm.
and it reminds me, Einstein was as you've spoken about, was a musician. He played the violin. Famously said,
Yeah, yeah,
I am enough of the artist
yeah.
to draw freely upon my imagination. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. So
Hmm.
there's this theme of imagination I see coming through in this, that to be able to imagine what these shapes are going to look like, what the paper is going to look like after the
Hmm.
whole is made. And music is definitely a powerful element of imagination in writing and in creating music. And Einstein perhaps was
Uh-huh.
alluding to that in some way. I'm
Yeah,
not
and
sure.
before that, he had a big problem with his brain called dyslexia.
Oh,
The Winston Churchill also had one, and then those people having a trouble reading, writing, spelling, or the mathematics even. They cannot do the mathematics. If the Einstein couldn't do the mathematics, maybe we didn't have this atomic energy, right? But fortunately, he started learning the violin, and then such a music, learning playing the music could help his brain development, especially the place I talk about, the language center.
hmm.
And then, yeah, even for the mathematics, language center is important. And then those training help him to develop the brain in normal, uh, regular way. So that's what I imagine.
And I know that you've spoken about studies that have shown music training can help with dyslexia, for one.
Yeah, this is the kind of study. Yeah, here's the Einstein playing the violin. But before training, and then the control people can dissolve the strong mistake in the music and also strong mistake in the uh, uh, language. The problem with the writing. My English is
They can
so
pick
bad,
up the
so then
mistake. They can.
people can pick up mistake I'm making it if I make a strong. But the dyslexic people, they couldn't without those training. But when we give the music training, you can see they can behave just like a normal control. So then they start picking up those the errors. So then that's how it's a dramatic effect. So music effect to their development.
Okay, so it's stimulating that. Is it stimulating the right side of the brain that is in interpreting the music, benefits the left side, which is needed
Yeah,
for interpreting the written
both,
language?
both. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so then this is the language, music together. You can see the both side of the brain lights up. So then we're training the brain like this way. Yeah, you're right.
Let's go
That's
to a
happened not just
question
the
from the audience.
dyslexic. Okay, yeah, sure.
Oh,
Go ahead.
please continue. We can.
The
You have
only
another
thing
study
is
there.
that's happened to that's happened to the normal adult or the kids either way, right? If they get music training, yeah, they can be a better language user. And then another thing is that so by aging, like me, layman, I don't, I'm not a musician. So then we're gonna lose the temporal lobe thickness. That's where the language center exists. Yeah, but the musician, they don't lose the temporal lobe thickness by the aging. So then I highly recommend to do some music. Yeah.
As a way
Okay.
to preserve the brain or preserve those parts of the
Yeah, yeah,
brain.
yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. And then those temporal mainly affected by the Alzheimer's disease. That's why the Alzheimer's patient start losing the words to start with, and then they start losing the language, right? So, yeah, when you think
Okay,
about that, music can help. Yes.
and yeah, I mean, aside from the pleasurable aspect of the music, it's very intriguing to hear it can have this preservation effect on the brain as well. I have another question. Um, This is more of a general question. Does music from different cultural backgrounds have different stimulating effects on the brain? Do Eastern and Western music have different effects on mood or cognition? Depending on where the music
Yeah.
comes from, is there a different effect?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. So then not just the music come from, but the people came from. Also important. Already I mentioned that such experience changed the meaning of the music as well, right? So then if we listening like a Chinese music, we can say, oh, this is Chinese music. And then if you start listening to Japanese music, the Western music has 8 notes in the octave. Octave means 8, right? But the Japanese octave has only 5 notes, 3 missing. Yeah. So then that makes totally the music structure totally different. If you go to the India, they have 100 in octave. Yeah. So their brain is so much different. Yeah, they're the person found the zero, right? So then that's how the culture changed the music, and then those experiences changed the music. Yet we found interesting stuff. Mm, we gave the Japanese song. Da, 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 da. Maybe you never heard of it, right? This is a
I
song
think they play this in
somewhat
like
similar to.
the poker machine parlors or something like that, right?
Oh wow, you know
To
that?
keep,
You know that?
I've heard of, yeah, they to keep people
Yeah.
playing the
So
machines, right?
yeah. Oh, okay. So then in Japan we have like a slot machine parlor things, and then they bet the money, and then click the ball, and then if they win, they get the reward. Okay, and then if you go those places, they always play this music. Do you know why? Because this music influence to you, and then you don't care about losing the money anymore after listening to this music, because your dopamine goes up tremendously. So then you don't care losing the money. So then that's why this shop, put this music. Yeah, some of the foreigner also do the same, right? So then yeah, we gave this to the American young and senior people, and then check the frontal lobe function again. Surprisingly, we saw like a 30% increase, but they never heard like this music. And then this is a kind of typical Japanese type of music. Already I said that Japanese music has only 5 notes, so that kind of music. And then yeah, but still their brain responded. So then depend on the music structure, such a brain respond differently. Yet, of course, already I mentioned that such experience with the music changed the music effect tremendously. That's also happened.
And you
That's the
mentioned
answer. Good
dopamine
enough.
there.
Yeah.
I think that's a good answer. And the fact that you mentioned dopamine there caught my attention. Dopamine being the feel good hormone that I know it's also involved in
Mm-hmm.
movement. This factors into Parkinson's disease, different movement disorders.
Oh, no.
And I know, interestingly, I interviewed a doctor not so long ago about attention hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, and he was talking about how
Mm-hmm.
dopamine factors heavily into this, into the ability to focus the mind. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I wonder if music has this kind of feel good effect as well, and I think the studies showing it can affect the dopamine levels. Could this explain how it's also making people smarter?
Oh, yeah. Dopamine not directly related to the smart things, obviously. And then, like a Parkinson patient, they are losing the dopamine neurons in a certain place called substantia nigra, and then those signal goes to the striatum, different part of the brain, and then making the balance with the acetylcholine. That way, regular people can behave normally, but the Parkinson patient having a problem. And then this part of the brain called I say striatum, but particularly you know, the part of the brain called the what? I forgot. I'm getting Alzheimer's disease. So then yeah. So then putamen, caudate putamen. That's a part of the striatum, and then that part of the brain making the rhythm, and then we are using those rhythm to behave normally. We start walking, and then the walk itself, you see the rhythm, right? So
That's
then
where we
those
rely on
rhythm,
an internal rhythm to move. Our brain creates a rhythm
yeah,
that allows us to move.
hmm
Right.
yeah. But if you lost the dopaminergic neurons, you lose those rhythm. Then the that's where the music comes from. Music has a rhythm, right? And then especially the rhythmical one, that's affect to the brain, and then such a patient can pick up the rhythm and using those rhythm as instead of the internal rhythm to behave. So then the Alzheimer patient, uh, I'm not sure if I can show this movie. It takes so much time, but you know, this is the like a Parkinson patient. You can see the very
Right.
difficult to walk, and then you can see the tremor, and then the rigidity, and so on.
Very rigid.
And then yeah, the problem is that after this, he's gonna put some music. Sorry to take so much time, but
Sure. What kind of
I'm
music
teaching this
is he
one.
playing?
Yeah, very rhythmical. Dun, da,
So now
da,
he's
da,
got the music
dun,
on.
dun, da, 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 dun. Yeah, see that he started to behave very nicely. He's using those rhythm to walk, right? Even the tremor, those rigidity in the hand goes away, right? So then that's
Yeah.
the reason yeah, so much different. And then unfortunately this effect only lasts during they're listening the music because they have to hear the rhythm. So, but that's the way I would say almost cure to the Parkinson's disease.
Like a temporary cure
Yeah,
during that time the music is
temporary
being
cure.
played.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is there some way this finding could be applied to have a long-term benefit to Parkinson's disease or other
Yeah.
neurodegenerative
So then the
conditions?
long term for the Parkinson still those are difficult, but they like our hospital where we have the chorus group singing or chorus group by the Parkinson patient. So then they start learning the music, and then those what they call earworm. So some music stick to the ear, and then almost you can hear those music again, 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 or something. If we can
The
make
music
that
gets stuck in
happen,
the head.
yes, stuck in the head, right? So then if that happens, they behave rather better than without those music. I mean, those information. They are not listening to music, but if they have those music stuck in the brain and they're always kind of repeating or something, then they could use those music rhythm to behave little better. So,
Okay. I just want to have a look and see if we have another question here, Dr. Sugaya.
yeah, I love questions.
This is from a musician. As a music player, why are some people able to memorize what to play better than others? I tend to memorize fairly easily. Friends ask me how. How can some people
Yeah.
memorize music
So
better than others?
yeah. I bet uh, we did the function MRI of the musician while they're listening to music. We expect already I showed that the longest center usually lights up because the music is a kind of language. When we're listening it, we start analyzing with the Wernicke's area. But the musician, surprisingly, some of them, not all, but the surprising, this is a different one, sorry. Surprisingly, the musician, this occipital cortex, back of the head, lights up. As you may know, the occipital cortex is the visual cortex. So they are seeing the music. Maybe my guess is that they memorize the music as the image, like a music score. My wife is a musician. She's the Julia, the graduate playing violin. Pretty good. I like it. She performed a couple weeks ago in Carnegie Hall or something. So pretty good. And then her brain also the same. And then she can memorize like a 45 minutes concerto, violin concerto in the brain. But I asked her how she's memorizing it. She said that, oh, memorizing as a score, and then sometimes the score, she put the notes, a marking or something, and sometimes she might spill the coffee on the top of the score or something, and then using those memory, visual memory, memorizing it. That's what she said. So then maybe, yeah, that's the trick they're doing.
So the small coffee stain on the top of the music sheet is like a cue to remember that page of music.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what at least my wife said that. And then based on the functional MRI, we saw the visual cortex lights up. So that's quite much.
How does the benefit of playing music, of hearing, like say, learning to play Mozart compare to just listening to Mozart?
Okay.
As far as
Yeah, the praying and praying is much better because when you pray, you have to, not just interpret, but you have to express, right? So then express means that you have to put in a motion to express the music. But when you're listening to the music, you just try to interpret the music. That's it. So then only the part of the brain working could be the Wernicke's area, back of the temporal lobe. But when you playing it, you have to use the Broca's area, different part of the brain, and also the motor cortex, right? So so much variety of part of the brain moving. That's good for the memory. So then when I teach student, I ask the student to read the textbook, not just read in speak. I mean speech. Read in the voice. What can I say, right? So then not just read by the eye, better to put in a voice. That way, they can use the motor cortex to,
Hmm.
you know, the first happen, visual cortex, visual cortex goes to the Wernicke's area, understand what saying, and then put in the Broca's area, put into the motor cortex, and talk. And then they are listening such a things. So that means the auditory cortex also activated. That way they can use the all variety of the part of the brain. That way the memory could fix in the brain much better than others. So then the same thing is the playing the instrument and then listening the music. So playing the instrument is much better. Already I said that the musician, they don't lose the temporal thickness. But I love listening to music, but I will lose the temporal thickness. So then that's the things. But already I mentioned that like a chorus, singing is the best. So then if you sing, you're using the vocal cord as the instrument. Yeah. So then but usually the singing doesn't involve the reading the music sheet or the score. I don't read the music sheet, right? So I never learn music in my life, all my life. So then yeah, I kind of understand going up and down, but that's it. Not like a musician's way. Surprising that they can read the music and then immediately put into the instrument. But that's not going to happen to the layman. So my suggestion is this better to do the singing. And then already I mentioned that the singing involves the uh, lyric. That means that both sides of the brain activated. Yes.
So if you're wanting to memorize something for an exam, singing it may be a way to get that more firmly imprinted in the mind.
Oh,
Is that
yeah, that's
one
also.
takeaway?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, that's a good point, right? So then when you're a kid, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, right? So then you never memorize A, B, C, D, right? You put the music to it. That's the way, much easier to memorize it. So then the same thing with like a telephone number. This is not the music, but the telephone number for me, no way to memorize it. But if I put some meaning or something to those number, then I start memorizing. And then if we put the music onto it, much better memorize it. So, yeah, you're right.
Because you're bringing more parts of the brain into the task, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
See,
before we were
already I
talking
mentioned
about
that. Yeah, go ahead.
before we were talking about
Oh,
the
oh,
language learning and how that corresponds to learning music. Um, I've heard with when people are learning a second language, you said I know you come from Japan, so your first language is Japanese. So I'm sure you could probably have some insights to this, Dr. Sugaya. I've heard it said that learning a second language, it's like you're developing a second brain, and I know there's specific benefits seen with people who speak another language or who are learning a second language. There's been studies showing they have demonstrate better focus, better ability to memorize things, even higher levels of creativity. Is there a connection there between these kinds of results and the benefits that we see with learning music?
yeah, okay. Uh, there are two different things. One is that, like my wife, she's not that great speaker. She's not. I hope she's not listening. right? So then she's not a great speaker
She's a great
because
violinist.
I think she used, great violinist, but she maybe used up her longest center capacity to do the whole music. So then when she start try to present something, pick up the violin and start doing this, that's much better and that's much easier for her than start talking. Even in the Japanese, not just English, but the Japanese also. Okay, so then that's one example, extreme this side. But another example, the many of the conductors, they can speak many languages, multiple languages, Deutsch, French, right? Italian, no, of course English, right? So then they can speak because that's necessary for them to speak those because they face the different orchestra. But they can do much better than the more than the normal level people because they have a music training to have the basic training of those language center. So then they can learn much easier. And also another thing is that maybe you notice that the conductor they live long without Alzheimer's disease, with no dementia, senile dementia.
You
Right?
don't.
Many of
You
them like a
practically don't
90
see the.
still. Right. Right? In the conductor.
Is that
Do you
right? So
notice
you
that?
don't see
Right?
you don't see Alzheimer's commonly with conductors because they're.
No. Right? Because they're listening the music and then they're expressing the music. That's important. And also they have a little bit exercise, right? So then that's the not too much exercise. Too much exercise is bad for you, but a little bit exercise and then listening to the music and then express the music. So then that's the way they, using their brain, and then they can live long with the clean, nice brain function.
I've heard that conductors also have a very low rate of heart disease due to that movement because
Yeah.
it's stimulating the lymphatic system and they're flushing a lot of toxins
Hmm.
out of the body that may
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
otherwise could contribute to heart disease. So there's some serious health
Hmm.
benefits to being a
Oh,
conductor, it would
yeah.
seem.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Have you ever heard about the green puff system?
The Say that again.
You know the green puff system. That's
Lymphatic
the
system in the brain. Yeah.
right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So then we do not know how the brain spit out the garbage before, because the brain has the blood-brain barrier. So then the things not going to pass through the blood-brain barrier gets into the blood or coming from the blood, right? Yeah. So then that's another example, totally different. But already we had the Thanksgiving, and then during the Thanksgiving we eat a turkey, and then the people say that if we eat a turkey, become sleepy. Do you know why?
The tryptophan, I've heard that
Wow.
chemical in the
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Tryptophan is the precursor of the what?
serotonin.
Serotonin. Yeah. Serotonin is a precursor of
Tell me there.
yeah. So then so circadian rhythm made by what? In other words,
Oh,
that when you become sleep,
oh,
these things going up.
melatonin.
Hmm? Melatonin.
This is
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So then the tryptophan, serotonin, and then melatonin. So then if you have more tryptophan, you're gonna produce more melatonin. That means you become sleepy. That's the idea. The people
Uh-huh.
say that. But the fact is that tryptophan never cross the BBB spontaneously. Even if you got so much tryptophan in the peripheral blood, your brain not gonna have that much. That's the protection mechanism we have, right? Otherwise, whenever we eat the beef steak or something, we become crazy because of those amino acids we are using as a neurotransmitter in the brain. But the brain is protected. Okay, so that's totally differently, right? So then the glymphatic system, that's the flushing out those junk and put in the lymph, and then the washing out the brain, and then that one activated during the deep sleep.
Yeah.
So that
I've
means the
heard that.
sleep is also very important. Yeah, and then also yeah. Still, this one is somewhat still in the research, but when you're listening to music, that could happen too.
Oh, the same kind of
Your brain relax.
detoxification effect?
Could happen.
It has a detoxification effect potentially through the music.
Potential. Yeah.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Of course, yeah.
I can
That
imagine
increase
some music
lymph
may
node
not.
movement as well. Ah, of course.
Some music may not have such a
the people
detoxifying effect.
make
What
more
music should
toxic.
people listen to if they want to detoxify rather than toxify their
Yeah.
brain?
So then the music. Yeah. All right. So then the music increase the alpha wave, brain wave, alpha wave. So then the more relaxing music for that purpose. Not of course, if somebody dancing, maybe okay, but the brain is so activated, so I don't think that's good. So relaxing is good. Yeah.
Music. What kind
Talking
of
about
music
the
is going
relaxing,
to induce? What kind of music is going to induce the
The
the relaxing alpha waves then?
Good question. That's depend on the person to person, but the slow tempo, yeah, even lullaby, yeah, lullaby. What is the tempo of the lullaby? Do you know the tempo of the lullaby speed? No, that's usually like
I don't
60 to
know.
70.
Right.
That's usually the 60 to 70. Yeah, not the 100 or not the like a 30, 40. 30, 40, it's not gonna be a music. Yeah, okay. So then that's the beat of the mother's heart. If the mother in a calm situation, the heartbeat is like a 60 to 70, right?
That's what I was
So
thinking.
then the
I was
baby,
thinking the
yeah, yeah. So then the baby in our mother's tummy, they are always listening such a heartbeat, right? So then that's why the lullaby makes them comfortable, comfortable. So then that's kind of music could be a good one, and then the lots of consonants, not much dissonance. You know that consonance dissonance, our brain responds quite differently.
consonance is where there's I don't more similarity. The music is more harmonized. Dissonance is where you have more
Yeah,
vast
it,
differences in the notes of the music.
I can show you the one of the slide here. So then the consonance dissonance, that's already we can distinguish when we were like a 3 months old, 4 months old baby. Put the baby in the middle, and then put the consonants to the right, put the dissonance to the left, and then always baby face to the consonants. They hate the dissonance. Why we hate the dissonance? So then this is the picture. Measure the second. That's the dissonance. And then this is one note on the y-axis. another node to the x-axis, and then put the wave right to the this way and this way, and then checking the crossing point. So the dissonance cross so many times. Major seventh, oh wow, lots of crossing point. But the consonants, they don't cross too much. So then the easier for our brain. Our brain is lazy. We don't like the complex stuff. So then the consonants, that makes our brain more relaxed, and then the dissonance, our brain become more alert. So then of course if everything made of consonants, and the music could be boring. So that's why the composer put both consonants, dissonance, but this is the basic. So then our brain like a consonants from the baby, yeah. So then our brain already made for that. And then another things made for that is not, yeah, like this octave. Oh,
So even at that, even as
we got
a
the
baby, a baby can distinguish between the consonants, the more harmonized music, and the more chaotic
yeah,
music.
yeah.
So it's
And
kind
then
of
love the
hardwired into
consonants.
us, the appreciation for music.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They love these consonants already. And then another thing is the octave. That's the worldwide. Every human has this octave. Of course, I say that Japanese has only 5 notes in the octave,
Yeah.
but from the ancient time, the first fruit found in the 45,000 years ago, they made the fruit with the like bone, animal bone, and then such a fruit has a hole, right? Holes, and then such a holes are exactly octave already. So then that's the things built in our brain already. So
Part of our DNA. We can.
yeah,
I just
yeah,
want to remind viewers that they can, if you enjoy the Vital Signs content, you can subscribe just by clicking the subscribe button below to keep accessing Vital Signs insights into health and lifestyle improvement. And if you have questions for Dr. Sugaya, you can still submit those by clicking on the link just below and entering that code. I'll just go to an audience question now and see what we have here. If someone asked, when I listen to pop dance music, I feel happy and full of enthusiasm while it's playing. However, when the music ends, I feel even more lost and lonely. Could this be a limitation of the effects of the pop dance music? Maybe compared to Mozart, I guess.
well, not just the pop music, but even Mozart music. After listening, you get a rebound always. The Mozart Marriage of Figaro, your dopamine increase a lot. And then when the music stop, those dopamine going down, and then another uh, see the am I okay? Yeah. So then another okay. Yeah. So then another hormone like a somatostatin or other things also going down. Yeah, exact same thing. And then the other way also true. Why people like a horror movie? I hate the horror movie. the horror movie, you put into the so much horror. That's also shivering back or something. Anyway, so then uh, you get a rebound from there. So after seeing the horror movie, go out the movie theater, or people don't go to the movie theater these days. But anyway, so then after seeing those things, you feel more comfortable, more like it, and then that's the kind of feeling you like it. And then the another thing is that, another example, the people run so fast, like 100-meter run fast, or the 100, maybe it's good example is 150-meter running, although almost exhausted running fast. But after that, they feel happy, right? So then those rebound, that's always happen. And then the going up, going down. So then the going down part, when you're listening to pop music, pop dance music, your dopamine going up and serotonin also going up. So your good mood, arousal is high, but they always stop. You get the rebound, and then the come back. So then this is normal level, right? And then the going up, and then the rebound means a little bit going down and come back. Yeah. My internet connection, maybe.
Yeah,
Okay.
you dipped out for a little
Yeah,
bit.
my internet connection. Yeah. So then the going up and then going down a little bit past the normal level and then coming back. And then so this area you feel more lonely or something. That's a rebound. Yeah. That's
Okay.
normal.
Almost, it sounds almost like the effects that people have if they take certain drugs, where the dopamine will be elevated for a period of time, and then they crash.
Definitely. Yeah. Anything happen, related to related to this reward system. Yeah, sweets, sex, and then driving an exciting car, the cuddling, anything. Those increase the dopamine, and then we feel kind of reward, right? So then exactly the same. You're right.
I just want to break for a second here and show a teaser for an upcoming, or actually an already published Vital Signs video. This is an interview I did with Dr. Jingduan Yang, a psychiatrist, looking at the potential link between violence and antidepressant use. I'm just going to have a look at this short teaser for a second. Can we play that?
The doctor made the notes that never ever gave this patient SSRIs. Another doctor covered the patients and given the patients the SSRI again, and he doubled it. And that morning, this patient actually ended up killed his wife. If patients has a trouble metabolize the SSRI, people get disoriented from the people, place, and time, have a visual hallucinations. In those states of mind, people can be dangerous to themselves or to others.
We'll explore when antidepressants can be helpful and also when they can do more harm than good. And we'll look at how antidepressants, SSRIs, could factor into violent behavior and even mass shootings. After this webinar, viewers can find the link to that video at the bottom of the description, that interview with the psychiatrist Dr. Jingduan Yang, looking at the link between antidepressant use and violence. Back here with Dr. Sugaya.
Yeah.
I want to talk a
That's
little bit
very interesting
about
stuff, though. I really recommend it. I love to see that. I was in the psychiatry department in Chicago, University of Illinois. So then I saw all those people, getting those treatment. And then, yeah, I see the kind of tendency as well. So,
You saw the violent tendency in connection to that
yeah.
medication.
Or suicidal. Yeah. I'm not against the pharmaceutical company, but that's what. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think
we can come back to the original.
that's a story for another time. I want to learn more about the specific study that you did, Dr. Sugaya, also using the Mozart music, and you spoke about how you saw this increase in frontal lobe function. How does that actually come across? If these people are listening to Mozart, they're getting this increase in frontal lobe function. How does that display? How does that show up in their capability?
You mean what kind of test we did? That's kind of things. Yeah.
Yeah. For
Right.
one,
So
how did you
then,
actually test?
Yeah, that's easy, very easy test. So then we can give the simple math test, like 2 plus 3, 4 minus 1, 5 plus 3. So those are simple math tests. And then in a time limit, certain time period, how many you can solve. That's the frontal lobe function. Quite a good representative. So then you can do that at home, after listening the music, and then check those if it's improved or not.
How could this be applied? So if parents are watching and they want to help their child improve their performance academically, how could they practically apply this understanding how could they use music to help their child perform better at school?
Yeah, same thing. I had a question from the local company. They wanted to make the speaker for the baby in the tummy. So then they asked what kind of music we should put on or something, and then I said Mozart. So then still we don't know why Mozart, but the Mozart having so much effect. Obviously, some of the Mozart may not have the good effect, but in general, the Mozart is kind of a happy music, and then yet not that complex, but still like this two piano, they are talking each other. Those structure that's gonna make so much stimulation to the brain. I think that's what it is. That's, we like to know, what is the exact. I was talking about the brain wave. We know how to exact produce the alpha wave using the sound. Have you ever heard about the binaural sound? So then if you put binaural, so then like 440 is the C, right? No, the A. 440 is A, right? So then if we put the 443 or something, we can hear 443 hertz. So then we can hear the 3 hertz wave, one, one, one. When you do the guitar tuning, I have a guitar here, but all right. So then when you do the guitar tuning, the two strings getting closer, they can vibrate, influence each other, and then you can hear the one, 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 some kind of vibration, not just the original sound, right? So that's the binaural
sound. Merged together, they create a third sound.
Yeah, first time. Yes. So then because the sound plus minus, that's happen. So then using those, we can control the brainwave. So then if we give the very rapid, so much, the frequency, then the brain got the stimulation, and then like a gamma wave, those wave increase. On the other hand, if we have the like slow wave things, then we can control the brain to the alpha side. Actually, already we are using this one for the some of the patient having the mm, yeah having the some problem, and then it works. And then another thing is that mm, w- we used to have lots of kids getting the uh, eye dosing. Eye dosing is to stimulate this gamma wave. So then when they're listening to such music in loud, they can trip, that kind of things. So instead of the drug, illegal drug, but there's such a sound makes there such a almost illegal sound, drug effect.
Really? What? So it
Yeah,
has the same effect
yeah,
as that, like having it, like someone might have from using LSD. They get this from listening
yeah, yeah.
to a certain sound.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Wow.
And also the music. Music is the drug. And then the music could be addictive, right? Yeah. So then some people wants to hear the music all the time, put the earbud, and then put the things all the time. That become addictive, just like a drug, because they are
I
affecting to the same part of the brain. They are affecting to the same part of the brain called pleasure center.
well,
You
I
know,
grew up in a
sweets.
household
Yeah.
with never-ending country and Western music because my that was my dad's
Yeah. Yeah.
indulgence. So my mother, my
So
sister, myself, we had never-ending country and Western music flooding the house, and
yeah.
not such a pleasure to us, but my dad was fulfilled while he was listening to that.
Yeah. For your father, that was addictive,
Yeah,
I guess. Just like a
it still
chocolate.
is.
Just like a chocolate, right?
Yeah. I have another
Yeah.
question here, Dr. Sugaya,
Okay.
also along the lines of how music can be therapeutic. This is from Dan Braffel in our live chat. What do you suggest for children 4 to 5 years old with speech delays? Is there anything we've heard about? You've spoken about the connection between the language learning and speech. Could specific music be
Hmm.
helpful in helping children with speech delays?
Yeah. So then the best thing is that learning any instrument, best. But at least listening to music, especially the Mozart music, is good for the classical. Okay. And then the modern music, pop, is fine. But I wouldn't suggest to give the like a rap music or the heavy metal, because some study shows that if you give those to the kids, they become more aggressive. So that's the music maybe you want to avoid. I don't think a rap. Sorry, my opinion, rap isn't a music. But anyway, so yeah, just avoid those. But giving the music is good. And then the hopefully somewhat similar to the Mozart music.
Yeah, based on what we've talked about, I could see that just the act of learning an instrument and do you think in that, I mean, there's so many things involved, so many aspects to learning an instrument and playing this music. You're reading the music, you're reading the sheet of music, you're translating what you've read to the performance with this instrument. Which aspect do you think is most powerful in terms of boosting brain function?
For the kids, discipline. So learning
Discipline.
the instrument, you need the discipline, right? Like my son, I never asked him to learn the music, but he picked up the violin at the class, like a fourth degree or something. Anyway, a grade, fourth grade. Yeah. So then he picked up the violin, and then he started learning violin, crazy, like 5 hours per day. practice.
In fourth
That's
grade?
what he did. Yeah. So then that's a very strong discipline, right? So those discipline gonna help in the future to learn something, study something. That's what I see too. Not just a music effect. Music also affects, but not just the music effect.
What benefits did you see with your son when he started learning, picking up the violin? What other benefits did you see coming through at that time?
At that time, of course, and he was a baseball player before. We were in Florida, so then he did the year-round baseball, and then I moved to the Chicago, and then he found the baseball isn't that great in that area. So that's why he started picking up the music instrument. And then, but honestly, he was so good from the beginning. Even the baseball player, he was the number one in the class. And then after picking up the instrument, still the same. And then so he joined the Chicago Symphony Youth Orchestra as the second violin, and then second chair. But honestly, I didn't see too much different. But again, I guess the when he learned the baseball, I asked him to hit the ball like a couple hundred every day, and then whatever he did, he put him into it. So then that's the things happen, and then he ends up graduating the MIT with the all A. So that means something. But from my point of view, I wouldn't say that's a music effect. Sorry, disappoint you.
Well, what you were saying about discipline surely factored in there by the sounds of things.
Yeah.
I'll just see if we have one more question for you, Dr. Sugaya. And
Yeah.
this is again along the therapeutic side, and I think we touched on the benefits to stroke patients earlier. This is specifically about the recovery of the verbal memory for someone who's had a stroke.
Yeah.
Could music have a benefit here, and what type of music would be beneficial?
Yeah. So then that's already we discussed our brain using the same part of the brain for the language. This is the left side language, and the right hand side for the music. And then some people got the damage to the right hand side, and then some people they totally lost the understanding of the music. That's sometimes happen. Just like a language. One of the senator, I think it was the Texas or somewhere, she got a shot on the left side of the brain, all the way, and then she lost the language. But they start to do the rehabilitation with her by singing, and then after a year and a half, she could start speaking a language. So I would say singing, any kind of singing, and then your favorite music is good.
It's quite the revelation. It's not just the classical music. It's not just Mozart, but often it seems the music that really has a personal meaning to you, that triggers sensation for you personally, can have a therapeutic effect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then a lot of things maybe I can talk about. I have so many different things, but a lot of things is maybe you don't want to play B flat in Florida swamp.
B flat.
Do you know why?
You don't.
B flat.
Well, I know there's a lot of alligators in that part of the world.
Yeah. You're right. So then if you play B flat, you get the alligator attack.
Why is that?
Especially the male alligator gonna attack you. Yeah. So then the alligator, when they mate, the male alligator makes the B flat sound, growling B flat sound. So then if you play B flat, the other alligator thinks, oh, somebody doing something interesting, good, and then they come out and then find you, and then they will attack you. So never play B flat.
Any other note in the
Another
swamp but B flat?
Yeah? No, just the B flat. So don't worry about too much. And then the B flat is very interesting. So then the last several piece the Beethoven made, that's also B flat. So then the last Beethoven, like the small pieces, not the big one, but the small pieces for the chamber orchestra or something, all those are B flat. So B flat sound having maybe something special. I don't know. Yeah, that's all. Since I'm in Florida, so that's why I wanted to bring up.
I think it's good. That's good. Good advice for staying safe in the Florida swamp. Thank you so much for joining us.
Okay.
Dr. Sugaya, it's
All
been a pleasure to speak to you and to get these very very stimulating insights into how music can help us and improve the brain. And we'll be continuing to follow your work. Thank you for coming on Vital Signs.
Okay. All right.
And I'll just remind viewers that if you're enjoying Vital Signs content, you can subscribe to keep accessing our live webinars and other health insights just by clicking the red button below. And to see that video with Dr. Jing Duan Yang looking at the link between violence and antidepressant SSRI use, you can find that link in the description below.